All right, new reaction tonight to a best-selling book that shot to the top of the charts amid praise from conservative circles. Its thesis that Donald Trump's swift and seemingly unstoppable rise was boosted largely from support of working-class white Americans. A community some argue has been largely forgotten, and one that our next guest has shed much light on. Joining me right now, a Marine veteran who served in Iraq and is a Yale Law School graduate, J.D. Vance. He's written a memoir full of passion and heart about the working-class white folks he grew up with. J.D., good to have you here. That book, I should point out, it's the best-selling Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis. He joins us now. Let me start by asking you, so many pundits, so many politicos, experts, they were all stunned by the rise of Trump. They kept saying, he's not going to get the nomination. There's just no way. You were not. How come?
Well, I went home in, I think, November of 2015, around the time of Thanksgiving, and I remember coming back and telling my wife that I really thought Donald Trump was going to win because he was clearly tapping into something, and it was pretty clear that no one else, no Republican candidate, certainly in the past 20 or 30 years, had tapped into anything remotely similar.
And what was that he was tapping into?
Well, for the folks who grow up in these areas, for the folks who live in these areas, I think they're beset by a really strong sense of social crisis. So on the one hand, you have declining manufacturing jobs and other blue-collar industries in a very heavily blue-collar area. But on the other hand, you have the things that move in when these jobs go away. So you have rising mortality rates, rising heroin epidemic, and even, rising family breakdown rates. And so for the folks who grow up in these areas, what they've seen, frankly, is a community, a neighborhood, cities that are really struggling in a lot of different ways. And they've seen a Republican Party and a Democratic Party that hasn't really responded or appreciated the fact that they're struggling.
Is there some irony to the fact that the guy who's a billionaire, this businessman who has more money than Mitt Romney, for example, who was one of the wealthiest to have run, he comes in and he relates to the working class American in a way that so few politicians have been able to do?
Absolutely. It is a little weird, but I think it provides a really interesting lesson, and that's that sometimes the bar can be really low because of the failures of other politicians. So yes, Trump is a billionaire, and yes, I don't think he understands at a personal level what a lot of folks are going through, but he at least tried to diagnose the problems that they're suffering from. He at least tried to talk about the problems that they're facing and the feelings that set in when you feel like your life and your community isn't going too well.
J.D.,
and so it's not surprising.
I just have a few seconds left, so I want to ask you, do you think the Republican Party, as a result of Donald Trump and the success he has had with these working class Americans, has it forever changed?
Well, I hope that it has, because I don't want the Republican Party to go back to being a party that's so disconnected from its base. But I think that, Trump, it looks like he's not going to win, and if he doesn't win, the party is going to have to figure something out about these voters and about how to appeal to them, or they're going to suffer.
They need them. Okay, thank you so much, J.D. Good to have you here. More